Hello, YouTube. It's JT, the Green Engineer. Got kind of big news for everybody who might be interested in the project that I've been talking about. What you see in front of you is a picture of the box truck that I just purchased for all of the fun projects that are going to be coming our way. The idea behind this box truck, if you didn't watch the other videos, is to turn it into kind of a sustainable living kind of uh, tiny home on wheels kind of situation. But the idea is to make it as independent as possible. You know, I want it to generate its own electricity without the use of the diesel if I can help it. So what we'll be doing is we'll be putting solar panels up on top here. I'm also going to want, the plan is to also do quite a bit of solar, you know, as far as solar absorption. I want to do a solar evaporator for purifying water. I'll want to do a solar heater for both air and water, if nothing else, to work as a preheater, because it's always a smart idea to have a backup in the event that you can't use that. But this is the box truck. I purchased it I want to say, a week ago last Friday. And it actually, I take that back. It was last Friday. Anyway, but I did purchase the truck, and here's another look at it. It's an International 4700. It's a 1999 with a 5-speed Spicer transmission in it. And I'm sure you've noticed this already. This big Thermo King at the top. This is a reefer truck or a refrigerated truck. And the reason why I'm so excited about this particular one is, number one, I got a great deal on it. Number two, this box in itself. Let me go back to the other picture here real quick. Looks pretty big, but it's 21 feet long. That is actually quite a bit bigger than I thought it would be. So I think it's going to work out pretty well. Things may be just a little bit cramped, but that's okay. I don't really require a lot of space for the living quarters. But the idea is, again, to make it very, very self-sustaining, if at all possible. You know, the back area here, about the back 8 feet or so, is going to be kind of a garage workshop kind of area. There's really not going to be a hell of a lot of room in there, especially if I plan to park my motorcycle in it, which I do actually plan on engineering a way to, like a lift or a ramp or something to that effect, to get the bike up in here and be able to load it and unload it. But have like a small CNC in here and maybe a 3D printer eventually when I can get to it and build those. So those will go in there as well. But again, solar, everything if I can. I would like to have some kind of pyrolyzer in here as well, for to produce, or not pyrolyzer, but pyrolyzer would be great, but a hydrogen electrolyzer, to produce HHO on demand, which might be fun for many different things. But off the top of my head, I'm really thinking heating would be very nice to be able to use HHO to heat. It'll be a very small area. From the front of the box, just to give you some idea, from the front of the box to the door jamb here is about 5 feet. The door itself is a little over 3 feet wide. It's about 6 foot 3 inches ish, I think. The top of the door to the top of the ceiling inside is roughly 7 inches or so. But just to give you some idea as far as scale, the size of this thing, and what kind of room I'm going to be looking at, I believe like right about here or so is where I'm going to build a separator wall, that will separate the rear of the truck or the garage area with the living quarters. Up here, we'll have, most likely have a bed slash desk, kind of a Murphy bed situation is what I'm thinking of to better utilize the space. And then next to that, we'll have to put in like the refrigerator, place for the dishwasher, sink. I do have a small dishwasher that I want to put in here because I hate washing dishes by hand. So that's one of those indulgences that I'll probably put in there, is a high efficiency dishwasher. microwave oven, that kind of thing. I will have an air conditioner, even though this does actually have this refrigeration unit, which does actually work. I actually fired this thing up and I got it to work. The guy I bought it from never used it and was very honest with me. And when he told me that he never could figure out how to get the thing going, just so happens that in my younger years, while I was going through college, or putting myself through college, I worked for a food delivery company and drove, a big box truck like this that did actually have a Thermo King. So I was able to get it figured out and get the thing fired up, and it does actually work. So that's that there. I don't plan on ever using it. I'm going to keep it on here for in the case of emergencies. I may transform it into something else. I haven't decided yet, but for right now, I'm going to leave it because it is functional. It does work. The only problem is the drawback is on the inside. The thing, the interior portion of it actually extends out or extends into the box a pretty good distance. It's 4 feet wide, and it's probably every bit of 2.5 feet, extending into the box truck or into the box itself. But in any case, this is the box truck. So for those of you that were wondering whether or not this was, going to be one of those channels where, people talk about their plans and what they're going to do, but not actually follow through. Hopefully this shows you that, yes, I'm very serious about this, and this is going to be a great channel for you to watch, because all these various little projects that I'm going to work on, hopefully will inspire you and hopefully show you, that there's a lot of great technologies out there, technologies people, that big industry and big business doesn't want you to know about, things that you can do to be very self-sufficient and in a lot of ways cut down on how much you have to spend every month, cut down on your bills, and be more environmentally responsible. And that's kind of the whole point of all of this. And that's, again, the point of the truck. So like all this right here, I mean, you see the fiberglass has got cracks in it. I plan on fixing all of this the best I can, but it's really cosmetic. Try to get, some of this stuff off of here. This is just grime that is collected. Overall, I'd say this box truck is in really great shape. I mean, you can see there's panels that have been replaced, but really no dents. It's, right here is where you usually see a lot of dents. And there's just not. This truck definitely seems to be pretty well taken care of, with the exception of, these pieces here, which I'm fairly certain I can fix that relatively easily and then paint the whole thing. But again, that's cosmetic. For me, it's more a matter of functionality. Maybe we'll get to some of this stuff later for no other reason than I would like it to look nice. But so yeah, back to this. What I'd like to do is the separator in between the garage area, if you want to call it that, garage shop area, here in the back, utility area, whatever you want to call it, and the living quarters will have an insulated wall as well. It will be 2x4 thick, maybe a little bit thicker, and it will absolutely be insulated. And my plan is to install a very small air conditioning unit that will actually function off the solar and be able to run off the solar and hopefully do it relatively well, so that I can actually be comfortable in here. The nice thing is the living quarters is going to be such a small area, and this is so well insulated that it really shouldn't use that much electricity. It's all about the efficiency. And again, that was one of the reasons why I got excited about this particular truck and I went with it, was because it's got 5 inches of insulation on these walls, and that's huge. This refrigeration unit, it's meant to hold in. It's meant to be thermally protected, put it that way. One of the big problems in this is that the echo is unbelievable. And if you get in there, like I said, I had the reefer unit, or refrigeration unit, reefer unit is what they call it. Had this thing fired up, and this is diesel. This runs off diesel. And that thing is loud. You would not believe how loud it is. You cannot even, hear yourself think if you're in this box and this thing is going. It's crazy loud. It does a great job. It'll cool down this full 21-foot box by 10 degrees in a matter of about 10 minutes. 10-15 minutes. It's pretty impressive, really. But I have absolutely no desire to crank this up unless I absolutely have to. That's, like I said, it'll stay there, but not something I'll use. I'll use the electric air conditioning unit, just a wall unit that I will build, or a window unit that I will build into the wall of one of my false walls here. Again, the idea is, let's put a wall in here, separate the living quarters from the garage shop area, if you want to call it that, utility area, then probably the bathroom, and I'll have the full stand-up shower is the idea, and I'll have that on the opposite side of the wall from the where the sink will be. Any try to keep all the plumbing more or less on one side. It'll be a lot easier that way, if at all possible. So we'll do that, and then next to I may put another wall in yet. I haven't exactly decided how I want to run the ventilation system, the duct work, if you will, through all of this just yet. But I want the back end of that air conditioning unit to be in the garage. So it will be, theoretically, it will be in this wall here. That way I can install, an exhaust fan, probably most likely underneath the solar panels that will be back here, so that it can pump the heat out, and probably have some kind of a louvered intake that will allow the fresh air to flow in, and of course the heat to be exhausted out, all the while blowing cool air into the and I'm thinking in terms of air conditioning, because it's the end of June, so and it is hot out. Really impressive. I was really impressed with how quickly it actually cooled this down in such a short period of time, though, that big reefer unit, and it did actually do pretty well. We had a couple storms a little while back, and there was a little bit of water in here, but I'm fairly convinced that it came from some poor seals in this rear roll-up garage door type situation. I think you'll be really interested in what my plans are for that. I plan to use literally a small garage door opener in lieu of using this external lock. I may use the lock, I may not, but the garage door opener in itself is good enough to lock everybody's garage in the United States and probably the rest of the world, and keep it shut. I can't imagine that it would do any less of a secure job on a smaller version of a garage door, which is essentially what that is anyway. So we'll be looking at that as well. That's yet another project. Let's see how to put one in here. Again, I talked about the motorcycle and building some kind of a lift or a ramp system, some kind of loading system and unloading system for it. I'll toy around with that. That'll be a fun project to work on as well, so look forward to that. The interior, again, like the Murphy style bed/desk area, going to be very important for me to be able to edit videos and work, because I do have the YouTube channel, and I've got the website, I've got the Twitter and the Facebook also. So I'll be spending time on my computer. There's no doubt. But given all that, I'll have to have a place to work when I'm using SketchUp or CAD or something like that. Designing stuff for the to basically be cut out on the CNC or the 3D, or print on the 3D printer. I'll need a space to work for that, so that'll become very important. And again, maximizing the available space, because there's really not as much as you think. This thing is fairly wide. It's well over 7 feet wide. It's I try to remember what the dimensions are. I'll put them up as we're going along. You'll get to see that. But like I said, the idea is to I'll have for water in here. I'm going to have hookups in here. I'll have a spigot where I can plug a freshwater hose into, and I'll most likely build in a grid tie. So if I'm at at a place where I need to, or at like a campground or something like that that provides electricity and water, why do it the other way if you can just use that. But at the same time, I may not even need it. What's great about this thing is if I decide to go RVing or go cross country, maybe I'm going out to speak someplace about the project or whatever. And hopefully, when it's all said and done, I'll get some contracts to go do that, which is great, no problem. And but the idea is, maybe I'm staying someplace or I'm in transit, from point A to point B, and I can't plug in. That's not a problem because I'll have the solar, and I'll even have two wind generators is the plan right now. Two wind generators, 6 solar panels, and a relatively hefty battery bank. I mean, I say relatively. It's the idea right now. I think I'll start off with 8 6-cell batteries and build a 24-volt system. There's reasons for the 24-volt system, which other people would argue, and they'd be right. It'd be better to go with a higher voltage system. But in the same capacity, I have reasons for the 24, and definitely stay tuned to the channel, and so you can see that project, and I'll give the explanations as to why I'm choosing to do what I'm doing. And ultimately, if you decide you want to do something like this, at the end of the day, it's up to you. But I wanted to share with you and just kind of show you what I will do is I will take video before too long and do kind of a walkthrough so you can kind of see it firsthand. It'll no doubt be very shaky. I'll apologize ahead of time for that. But I will shoot some videos so you can actually see it inside the box, what kind of space we got to work with. I'll fire up the Thermo King. You can actually hear it run, hear the the diesel engine going, or both the diesel engines, because again the Thermo King in itself has a diesel engine up here, as well as the Great Big Beast down here. I say Great Big Beast is like 190 horses. This thing is slow. It's got a governor on it. It'll only go 66 miles an hour. So if anybody knows how to remove that governor, please send me a message, because that will just drive you absolute bonkers, trying to go down the interstate at 66 miles an hour, which was fun. I bought it in Indianapolis, and I had to drive it back to my home. You're seeing here. It was a very, it was a long trip. No air conditioning as it sits inside, which I may actually work on that at some point, or just, again, I kind of talked about maybe the back of the cab, cutting an access door back here that will allow me in and out of the cab, or in and out of the box, or go between the box and the cab without having to get out. I love that idea, so we'll have to look at that. If any of you have ever done that kind of a modification to one of these types of trucks, I'm very interested in talking to you. What's the best way to do that as far as, tips and tricks. You should always listen to the guys, or not just guys, the men and women who know. Listen to people who know, people who've done it. I've never actually done that, so I'm not going to pretend to be an expert on it. So, just like pretty much any of these projects, I've got pretty good ideas. I know, a little bit about a little bit, and we'll just have to go from there. I mean, being an engineer should count for something, but most of these projects that I'll be working on will be first for me, so I don't claim to be an expert, I guess, but in that capacity, like I said, if you've done that project or that modification where you've cut the back of this cab on a truck like this to connect it to because I know them, like tool trucks have that, so I know it can be done. I don't know exactly how to go about doing it. So if you know, let me know. Get with me, and I would be very interested to hear and see what you have to say. If you are going to be doing it, shoot a video. I'll put it up on the site. I'll put it up on this channel, and we'll give you credit so that other people can see how it's done. And we'll put yours up, and then we'll put mine up, and I'll basically show them, hey, here's the video, and I'm following it step by step, and here you're seeing it. I'll do like cutscenes. I'll splice it all together, which is great, and get you some notoriety that way, which would be awesome, and that would be a great way to contribute to the project, contribute your knowledge, and that's true for pretty much any project in here. If there's something that you've already done and you kind of have some tips and tricks, I am all ears. Like I've talked about this channel quite a bit, and what I want to do is create a community, and let's all get, put all of our brains together and come up with good ways of doing stuff. Um, Very, very interested in that. I think that makes for much more fun and productive projects if you can draw from people who know. Um, Beyond any doubt, it will make things not only easier but a lot more fun and, again, a lot more productive. So that being said, I'm going to go ahead and end the video. Guys, in the comments below, let me know what you think about this and what kinds of things you would like to see, and if you have any ideas that kind of jump out at you of what the possibilities are, what kind of technologies would you like to see go into it, and we'll just kind of sift through that and see. I mean, you may spark some inspiration, or you may just have a great idea that I implement. Like I said, it's a community thing. Let's all get together and figure it out. With that, I'm going to say thank you very much. Don't forget to go over to the Facebook. All the links are down below the Facebook page. Like and subscribe. Here, Facebook, Twitter. You can follow us on Twitter. Come over to the website and get involved. Get involved. Let's have some fun. Let's tear into it and turn this into something great. Okay. With that, thanks a lot, and we'll see you in future videos.